Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. He is a psychic medium, a healer. He's also a life coach. He specifically is the mediumatlarge.com. And that's Mike Hogan back on the program. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Fantastic, Steve. I'm glad that I had the opportunity of getting back with you again. And I tell you what, it's just been exploding around here.
Yeah, it's great to have you back here. And so many people are looking for answers, potentially from the other side, looking for some guidance with their life, spiritually connected. And when I say spiritual, a lot of times people think, oh, religion. No, not necessarily. We're talking just the universe, whatever's out there, whatever it has for you.
Oh, exactly. And spiritualism is technically a religion, but it's more a religion with you getting in touch with your creator. However you look at your creator, it doesn't matter as long as you're in tune with the universe and with your creator. That's what it's all about.
So for you, with the psychic medium side of what you do you feel that we all have, if you want to call them, angels around us, spirits around us at all times guiding us? We just maybe don't ask for that help?
And that's a good question because, I find that a lot of people are always questioning, well, what's this and what's that. I find that we have our spirits around us because spirit is actually just energy, and it's just energy in a different form. So as we come in to a human experience, our spirit comes into us, so it's just pure energy. And so when we leave, when our body dies, our spirit just goes back to the realm that it was in, and then it comes back, and it's like interdimensional. That's what my feelings are, is that it's like interdimensional. They can phase in and out. We go back for to see our learning experiences that we've had in this lifetime so that we can move up on our spiritual ladder.
Do you feel, Mike, that reincarnation, do you feel that we come back in a different form or we've experienced past lives before?
That's a big thing. Yes, I definitely believe in that, for the simple reason, how else do we know how we do things? A child might come back, 4 or 5 years old, and he can play Mozart just like he was there. It was because I feel that he was taught in a past lifetime, so he has that ability. It's almost like Groundhog Day. And we come back and back so that we can experience have different experiences so that we can move up and become fuller.
So when you do readings and you pull messages from the other side, are you literally hearing things in your head? Let's say somebody's, hypothetically here, grandfather's coming through. Are you hearing that inside your head? Are you seeing signs or symbols to validate that?
I have a combination because I'm one of the lucky ones that, yes, I hear things that come in. I get words in my mind. I'll see pictures of, and my guides have it, so they show me pictures of my family that I have around me to let me know. Let's say my great grandfather comes up. Well, then a picture of him, well, that means that, okay, it would be a grandfather or a great grandfather that's coming through. If it's on my mother's side, it'll show that grandfather, or if it's on my father's side, it'll show that grandfather. So wow. That's basically how I work. And then they just give me ideas, pictures, things that pop up. And what I've been schooled in is that the first thing that pops up is always from spirit. And the second thing is always us second guessing it.
Can you give an example of that?
as a matter of fact, when I was learning my guides, the name Andre came up. So, and through meditation, I found that he was a giant. Well, I was into WrestleMania and things like that, wrestling, the WWF. And so I figured, oh, okay, Andre the Giant. Yeah, that's just things.
Right.
Well, it kept on impressing me. And that's when it comes up. So it was his name. And he is a giant. So
So are you saying that when you were doing a reading for somebody, the name Andre came up and it was connected to Andre the Giant just because it was the name Andre, and that was the image that you were getting that you needed to say?
right. Yeah. Yeah. And I find that in fact I was up in Allentown doing an expo, and the wonderful lady that hosts the expo, she had she says, well, I need a reading before you start. And if you're not good enough, then I will tell you to leave. So she came in, and that week I was hearing Miss Isabel, you got to do it right. And I told her, I says, well, this is what I'm getting. And she says, well, I know exactly who you're talking about. And I says, it's a female. I says, she's a black lady. And I said, this is what she's telling me. And she says that was one of her teachers who had just passed. And she said that that was the first time that anybody had picked up on her.
Wow. Interesting how you hear those things. And did you hear that before you met this woman, or it was while you're doing a reading with her?
Actually, it was before. I was, I'm a truck driver. And so I was driving to my pickup, and I says, well, okay. I says, I need something for Isabel for that, this for a reading. And she goes, and this just popped in, and that was the only thing that popped in. So then when I told her that, then more came through that, okay, she says, what does she need me to say? And I says, well, I says, you need to make sure that you keep your health up. And so she says, okay, she says, I understand that. So.
You as a truck driver must have a lot of time on the road to meditate while you're driving.
Actually, I do. When I'm not listening to audiobooks, I'll take 2-3 hours at a time and sit there and just be with myself and just think things through and listen to what answers come through. It's basically a awake, eyes opening meditation.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. By the way, I'm jealous. I wish I could do that during my job and just have that time to meditate. So that's a blessing in itself, right there. I don't take enough time. I don't take enough quiet time, and I need to carve that time out because I feel it's having a negative impact on me. But it's interesting. Like you said, while you're driving and you have that meditation time. It's also like hypnosis, because I've often heard too, well, you're driving. You ever drive and you just show up and how did I even get here? You're fully awake, you're fully aware, but you're in almost a hypnotic state.
You are, because what it is that your conscious mind is more or less kind of shut down. You see things that are around you, but you just focus on the inner self, so that makes it the focal point instead of what's going on. Yes, I passed many landmarks that I know on the route, and I look and say, wait a minute, did I go through a red light or not? Or, but it's fully still conscious.
Yeah.
And you still know it. Then you look back and you say, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But a good way to refocus yourself is real quick meditation is just go ahead and focus on one thing. Like put your finger up in front of your face and just focus in on that, and just keep until you block everything out. And then you take a couple of nice deep breaths to relax. And then you can go ahead and breathe in, relax, and it takes 2 minutes.
It's almost like a reset. You take those couple of minutes and those breaths, which are key. Um, and I guess, the finger thing, focusing on that, for you, that would be the road, because you're
Right.
always looking ahead.
Yeah, it is. Looking ahead, or just kind of letting your mind wander. And, yeah, you know what's going on, but you don't, as long as it's not dangerous, then your mind doesn't really wake up.
And to your point, when you're driving, the conscious part of your brain, it's got that. It's automatically watching everything. You're driving, you're fully awake and fully aware, but it's by focusing on the road in front of you, your finger, whatever it might be. The subconscious has it. You have a way to tap into the subconscious, and that's where it all begins, right there, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, you can do that driving back and forth to work. You know, 99.75% of the people that I've talked to um, always have music on, always have something going on. And what it is that they don't know how to be alone. And when you can start getting comfortable with yourself, that's when things start happening. And you can do that very easily.
It's one of the easiest things to do, Mike, and something that we don't do, but so important.
It is because it resets your mind. It gets your mind focused off of um, the things that are troubling you,
Mhm.
and you also actually get answers to things that have been troubling you, because you're sitting there, you're just kind of letting your mind wander, and all of a sudden these ideas start coming in, and it will give you more
Clarity.
things to look at. Yeah, more
Yeah,
clarity.
without a doubt. And it's always been said that the answers are within us. We have the answers to whatever question you have, problem, challenges, whatever, it's within, but you can't tap the within because it's your subconscious. But if you're quiet and by yourself, they seep into you. I mean,
Sure.
now you can hear them because you've blocked out all the other stuff. And by the way, we're talking with Mike Hogan. He is the medium at large.com. And Lisa checks in from Rochester. Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. She says, I love what you're talking about today. Do you believe that spirits or those on the other side send us signals? I've been getting a signal from, I believe, my dad over and over, but I wonder if it's really him.
First thing that popped in is yes, it is him. He's trying to put you um, back into the place where you're supposed to be, and you're not listening. The thing is that you need to look around and see what brightens up for you. And whatever brightens up, that's where you're basically supposed to be heading to.
When you say brightens up, how do you mean? Makes you feel good, brightens up your life?
Yeah, almost like a light bulb coming on. You know how you look at something and something stands out. That's what it needs to go ahead. From what I hear is that she needs to take a 180-degree turn on what she's doing. She has to look at it from the opposite point, to say, almost looking behind instead of forward.
Interesting. So kind of look at where she's been and where she's come from to find out where she's going.
Basically, yes, almost like take a life review and
Okay.
look and see what's happened to that point, and see if there's anything that she can remember that needs to be taken care of.
Gotcha. Interesting. It's amazing how energy, and this is what I've learned in my journey in the last call it year, how energy can relay, from somebody that we're just talking about here. You can pick up on energy. It knows no space, no time. It could be energy from 10 years ago, and it's still out there, maybe in the form of a loved one that passed on the other side. You never know where it's going to go.
Right. Energy does not dissipate. It just takes a different form. And that's why, spirit, when we're in the human experience, and when spirit leaves, it just takes a different form and goes to look at things that they have to look at and then move back and forth, because it's almost like they can traverse time and space.
Have you ever done a past life regression?
I have not, but I know a very good person that I am hoping to get with her, and I just haven't. I really haven't had the time, but now that I've cut back on my work schedule, I'm going to go ahead and have a past life regression.
Yeah, I've heard so many great things, and I'm a skeptic like anybody else. So I gotta see this. I gotta see some proof here. And I spoke with somebody who does them, and she told me, well, here's an example. And I believe her. She's totally honest. She said, I did a past life regression for someone, and he had reoccurring pain in his back, and he just couldn't figure out what it was. Well, she took him back probably, I think it was like 300 years or so. And it turns out that he was shot with an arrow in a past life. And she didn't even know about his back trouble. She just said, well, this is what I got for you. This is what I'm seeing. And he's like, well, yeah, well, it makes sense because I have this pain that's been there for a long time. So they traced it back hundreds of years where that pain came from.
Mm-hmm. And the best thing about it is that when you do like past lives or anything like that, and look back, you start to heal. Once you know what the problem is, you can heal that, and you can go back and do some meditations and things, and go back and heal that. And in your mind and in your soul, you can go ahead and do that so that it will help your physical being.
I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, Mike, that when you go back in a past life and you identify those things and you heal them, you're also healing others involved in that for generations forward and maybe even generations back. Again, we're talking about that energy. Have you ever heard that?
It makes sense because I know that I had talked to a gentleman, and I had a view of his past life while we were talking, and that he was heading west in a covered wagon, and they got lost in the desert. And he does not like sand. He does not like sand at all. He can't go to the beach unless if it's a rocky beach or anything. He does not like sand. Well, what happened was that they got caught in a sandstorm, and him and his family got covered up and smothered in the sand, and he blames himself for that. So after he talked about it, he started feeling a lot better, and he contacted me later that his fear was not there so much anymore, and he felt that his family forgave him at the time.
Wow. That aversion to sand now traced back to that situation in a past life.
Right. Yeah, they were going across the desert in the west, and he was hoping for safety, and the sandstorm blew up, and it just covered everything, and it just it killed them all. There was 4 of them, I think there was 2 kids and his wife and himself, and he blamed himself. So there was nothing that he could do because of the breakdown.
Right. Wow. I'm looking forward to one day doing a past life regression sooner than later. It's pretty powerful. And once you connect the dots and put it all together, then it makes sense. It's not like we're reading into it. He already had the aversion to sand, and that came out during the session that he had.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was telling him about a quick meditation that I have to clear the negative energy out and bring in the positive energy. And it's standing on the beach, you know, how you're a child and you dig your feet into the sand.
Sure.
Well, he says, no. He says, I can't do that. I says, why?
Wow.
He says, man, he says, I can't stand sand. He says, it just drives me nuts. And that's what it was. And I think a couple months after I talked to him, he said, okay, he says, I understand that now.
Interesting. So you do card readings as well, Mike?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. Can we give somebody an example today of a card reading?
Sure. Yeah,
So
you can do that.
Tarot or Oracle?
I do Oracle. Tarot is too complicated for my crazy brain. And I've tried tarot and it just, for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And some have told me, I'm trying to remember which is which, but one is a little darker than the other.
Generally, the tarot is, and it just depends on how you look at it and how you read from it. Now, any of the decks that you use could be classified as darker, but like with my Oracle cards, they just give me a small message, and then I expand from them to what I feel is going on in that person's life.
Got it. Well, we have a couple of minutes left. How about we pull a couple of cards?
Sure. Yep. I'll pull one from each of my decks.
And how does this work? Would I ask you a question, wondering what the answer will be based on the cards, or we do this just in general?
Okay. Generally, it's a general. When I add the cards in, because what I do is I tell you how I do my readings is I come up and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling is going on in your life, and the movement or non-movement or things like that. And then I ask them for questions, and then I will give them answers to their questions. And then I'll add the card readings from that and kind of explain that. I know I'm different from a lot of people because I have my clients shuffle the cards. After I get done, I have them shuffle it so that it comes out for them. And then what I do is then I just give them the card readings.
Well, we have about 2 or 3 minutes left. Can we get that done?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. The first one here from my Archangel deck is overcoming difficulties. I feel that especially for you, that there has been some challenges in your life at this present moment that have needed to become for you to fix. And they will be fixed, and it will be in a quick time. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Oh, this is a nice one. This is from my Celebration of Love deck. And I know the lady who did all the artwork in this.
Oh, wow.
And this one is abundance. And I feel it's an abundance of good things coming to you. There is the challenges when they are overcome, the abundance will start flowing in because the positive energy will start flowing in. Does that make sense?
Sure.
All right.
And you're not the first one to say that, Mike. Others in your category and the work that you do have said the same thing. So you guys are all unrelated.
Yeah, really.
Same.
This one's nice. This is a deck from I know the lady who did this. She did it on a story from India, one of the oldest stories around. And this one says, imagination. Don't be afraid to use your imagination when talking to people, because sometimes it's a big benefit, because you can see things when you use your imagination and you think outside the box, and you're looking at it in a different way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
To some extent, That one's a little more vague. I guess you got to be in that moment where you're speaking with somebody and start using your imagination.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to be judging you on how well you adapt to things. And okay.
Okay. What can I throw a question to the cards?
Go ahead.
Let me check that. We have like a minute left. Here we go.
Okay.
Job opportunity. Good idea or not? Something I'm entertaining.
Okay. Well, I'll pull a card and see what it says. Okay. I think it has to do with relationships, with you and your job. You have to figure, what I'm hearing is that you have to figure out what you need to do and whether or not you want to stay or what you want to go. I know that this is going to be a good decision for you, whichever way you go. The abundance card says that that will be coming in. The overcoming difficulties is your way of looking at, okay, do I want to stay or do I want to go?
Got it.
So,
and the relationship thing does make a lot of sense because I need to consider one thing over here before I consider the opportunity. And it's definitely relationship related, not even connected to this job opportunity. So that is totally clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, we're just about out of time. Mike, fascinating talking to you. I'm glad we got to do it on a Zoom today.
Really?
Yeah, this is great. The Medium at Large, if somebody wants to reach out to you at the website, themediumatlarge.com, they're not really sure what they want. Can you, do you do like a free discovery call with them?
Yeah, if they contact me, I'll give them a call and just leave me, there's 2 places on my website that they can get in contact with me, and I generally answer one quick question.
Oh, excellent. All right. And all I'm going to say is keep on trucking.
I love it.
I don't know if you remember that. That was like a big phrase back in the 70s.
Yep, with the guy with the big shoes and walking through. Yep, most definitely.
Yeah, it was even a song by Eddie Kendricks. It was a soul song. Great song, by the way. It came out in the early 70s called Keep on Trucking. So I'm not going to reveal my age.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
I know it well. All right, Mike. Great talking with you. Themediumatlarge.com. Check it out and look forward to talking again sometime soon.
Yeah, most definitely, Steve. You take care.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.